If you're a creative business owner and you're losing sales but you don't know why, clients seem interested, then they ghost or tell you it's too expensive, then this video will expose exactly what's happening, because you're probably making one of 10 fatal sales mistakes that are currently killing your closing rate. I've built a 7-figure company and I've helped hundreds of creatives transform the way they sell. And in this video, I'm breaking down every single one of these mistakes so you can stop losing clients and start closing with confidence. Let's start with mistake number 1. You see, most creatives think sales lives on two ends of the spectrum. Over here, they think it's all about being friendly and building rapport. On the other hand, some people think sales is all about being like the Wolf of Wall Street, okay? This ends up where you try to be their best friend because you're like, oh, on this end of the spectrum, it's too salesy, so I'm gonna be friendly. And you're trying to crack jokes, build rapport, find common grounds, make them like you so they say yes. But here's the thing, you don't understand that people don't buy premium services just because they like you. Because at this price point, whatever you're charging, right? 3K, 5K, 10K, whatever, right? When you are premium, people buy only from what I call trusted advisors. For the trusted advisor frame, I want you to think about how a good lawyer or doctor would operate. They're not coming into the consult trying to be your best friend. They're also not trying to push you forward. They're instead calm, neutral, and they're acting professional. They ask you questions to diagnose the problem. Maybe they ask you about your desired situation and they prescribe the right solution. You should not try to be a service provider or vendor pitching at them, nor should you be a friend hoping they like you, because both of these approaches do not work. You instead need to have the middle ground of a trusted advisor. You're simply there to assess, can you genuinely help them? And if so, guide the conversation from that place. A great example is one of my clients, Jasmine. Before she started working with me, she used to think of herself as just a videographer. But then I reframed her mindset as to how she should show up. So she started showing up as a trusted advisor. And that's when everything changed. Clients were actually more excited to talk to her, the conversations flowed, and things just finally clicked. And that's how she ended up making $22,000 in just 3 months of working with us. Now, once you have the right framework, there's still one thing that will sabotage you before you even say a single word. And it's something you're completely unaware of. This brings us to mistake number 2. You see, when you walk into a sales consult feeling desperate, like I absolutely need this client, otherwise my life is doomed for failure, people pick up on that energy. And the more you chase something, the more it actually runs away from you. So you actually need to be detached from the outcome, which of course is easier said than done. This is where you actually need to have enough leads in your pipeline so you can feel a little bit more calm going into sales consults, knowing that, you know what, if I absolutely fumble this sales call, not the end of the world. But if this is the only lead you've gotten all month, you are going to screw it up, no matter how good you are at sales. But here's a quick trick that you could do, which is before you go onto a sales consult, take a moment, pull out a little sticky note. Write down a few things you're truly grateful for. Just find the little things you can truly appreciate about your life. It could be even things like, I'm appreciative of my office, I'm appreciative of my dog Juno, whatever it is, okay? Get your mindset right to understand that your life is already so great without this client. And that's gonna transform your energy, because now you're no longer chasing them, needing them, and seeing them as your one source of happiness. Instead, you're like, my cup is already full. I feel good with or without you. And that alone is gonna transform the way the client sees you. They probably cannot pinpoint it, but they will pick up on your energy and say, you know what? This person I'm talking to is very different. And that's exactly how you can stand out from the competition. Which brings us to mistake number 3. Think about this for a second. If you're an athlete, would you show up to game day running different plays, or would you run the play that you've been practicing on the field with your coach and practice over and over again? Like really, on the day of the most important game of your life, the championship day, would you just wing it? But that's exactly how most creatives approach their sales consults. They have a different structure or no structure at all. They're using different questions, matching the energy or the question of their lead or client, and it ends up being this jumbled mess with no proven playbook to follow. So if that's you, you need need to change that. You need a very calm, predictable framework to follow. So you know exactly how to introduce yourself, how to state the discovery, how to ask the questions, and then finally, how you should be pitching your offer and handling any objections. Because when you have that happen, you have this mental calm because you're not trying to reinvent the wheel every single time. That's going to reduce your anxiety. And this is exactly what my client Larissa did. She did 146K in revenue within 6 months of joining my program. And it's partly because of the sales framework we used with her. Because at the end of the day, when you have a repeatable system for your sales, that's where you start increasing your confidence. So if you want sales to feel natural, you want to actually first find a systematic way that you could follow. Now, even with the right sales framework, there's one mistake that kills the call right at the beginning. And this is what every creative is guilty of making, which is mistake number 4. You see, creatives are so freaking eager to talk about themselves, right? You're like jumping at the first sign to talk about your experience, the gear you used, how many years you've been in business, or why you got into this field because you're so passionate about it. You see, sales calls is not really about you. It's about the other person on the other side of the call, your potential client, because they're there wondering, well, are you going to be able to help me out with my dream, with my desire, or with my problem? So the conversation has to be flipped. It has to be 80% about them and understanding them and what they truly want, and 20% about you. But right now, you probably have that flip. You're talking so much about yourself, and they're sitting there and wondering, so what? How are you going to exactly help me in my situation? Can you tell me how this applies to me? So at the end of the day, you have to remove all the talk that you have about yourself, and you have to really understand deeply what is it that they want? Why do they want it? And how would success actually look like for them in the context of their situation, right? Their dreams and desires. Because when you're truly taking the time to understand them, you can ensure that you pitch the correct services for them. Because only then can you actually show them what exactly you do, how it applies to them. And then of course, if they have some questions about your background, your experience, they will definitely ask you that. Trust me. Because I've watched hundreds of sales calls at this point from my clients, and the people that fumble sales at the beginning, they're just starting to just talk all about themselves. This is what I've got. This is what I can do for you. But it's kind of like, buddy, did you take a moment to even understand what is it that they're looking for? Are you even the right fit? Now that you understand the frame you have to use, the mindset you have to use, the structure, the opening, none of it also matters if you're spending your energy on people who are literally never going to work with you anyway. And that's mistake number 5. And it's really costing you more than you can realize. I think we're all guilty of mistake number 5, especially early on in our career, where we get on the call 5 minutes in, 10 minutes in, and we can definitely feel that this person is not our ideal client. The budget's probably not there, or the way that they're talking, the energy, everything is just off, and we just feel it in our gut. But early on, what happens is we are so desperate to get a client that we might not say no to them. And that's what creates this bad habit. You have to also have filters and barriers to who you work with. At the end of the day, you also have to pick and choose who you work with, okay? You cannot just pitch a client just because they showed up to the consult. If you definitely feel that they are not the right fit for you, please disqualify them. At Aligned HQ, we have this rule for our team: 3 strikes and you're out. If we find 3 red flags that we are like, this is not going to be a fit for us, we just politely end the call, say, hey, based on our conversation today, it just doesn't feel like we'd be the right person to help you with this. I would rather refer you to X, Y, and Z, whoever it is. You see, when you start doing that, you actually start training your muscle and operating your business from a place of abundance. You are literally showing to yourself that, you know what, I don't have to be desperate, that I also have filters and qualifications for the type of clients I work with. That's going to help you with the energy of not being desperate, not chasing every single lead, that you actually have standards for your life and for your business. You can actually be more selective, focused, and operating from abundance rather than scarcity. And when you stop chasing bad fits, you actually close better clients. Now, mistake number 6 is the one that surprises most people, and it's the deepest insight in this entire video. And once you hear it, my friend, you literally cannot unhear it. You sell exactly the way you buy. If you always need to think about it before making a decision, if you spend 2 weeks researching a $5,000 purchase, if every big investment makes you hesitant and indecisive, your clients will mirror that behavior right back to you. You're not selling them, you're projecting your own hesitations onto them. And this connection between buying behavior and selling behavior is invisible. Like nobody talks about it, but it explains so much because the creatives who struggle to handle objections with confidence, most of them are also hesitant buyers. They're indecisive. They don't know what it actually looks like to respect their own judgment and actually go after what they truly want. They overthink every purchase, they take forever to decide, and then they wonder why clients do the same thing to them. The fix is simple. It requires real self-work. Become a confident buyer. Practice making decisive purchases. Stop over-researching everything. Train yourself to evaluate, decide, and move. And once you do that, once you embody what decisiveness looks like, you can guide your clients to have that same energy on the call. Because how can you expect somebody to do something that you are not yourself? You will not understand how a premium buyer should act and think if you are not a premium buyer yourself. How can you expect somebody to be confident in you when you cannot actually invest confidently in yourself? It just doesn't work. It breaks it, right? So that's where I'm saying you buy and sell exactly the same way. So change how you buy and it's gonna naturally change the way you sell, because you're gonna think, you know what, when I go into a decision-making process, I am confident, I am strong. You're going to be in a position of authority and you actually guide them. Now, once you fix the internal game, there's an external mistake that destroys closes at the exact moment you bring up money. That brings us to mistake number 7. You have no idea how many sales calls I've reviewed. And the number one rookie mistake is once you figured out this is a client that I can serve, I've made the pitch or the offer, you now go silent because you're uncomfortable talking about money. This is the moment the client is saying, great, what's the investment? Let's move forward. But I've seen so many times the biggest rookie mistake is you say, I'll send you an email. I'll send you a proposal. The client is literally saying, I am interested, but you are too uncomfortable to talk about money, to say it costs whatever, $5,000, $10,000. Let's move forward. So you just go silent. And the client again picks up on that and says, this person is not confident in what they are doing. They literally could not even talk about money when I have signaled to them subtly many times or even overtly that, yes, I am interested. So again, this is where you need to start changing your relationship with money. Why are you feeling so uncomfortable when the client has literally said like, yes, I want to work with you? You have to actually say, great, the investment for everything that we've discussed today is blank. And then any other questions I can answer for you, or are you ready to move forward? Like that's it. Repeat that over and over again. Because when you actually confidently talk about investment, you start signaling to the client that, okay, I've done this many, many times over. This is part of my business, that I actually sign clients on a weekly basis or a monthly basis. This is not a weird once in a blue moon rainfall for me. Like I am confident, I know what I am doing. So at the end of the day, this is your best chance to actually book that client. Don't let them get off the call. Don't feel uncomfortable and tell them, I'll send you an email, I'll send you a proposal. Discuss the investment. Most likely, if you believe that they're going to move forward, they absolutely will. You have to actually bring that energy to that call where you're thinking, well, I would want you to move forward right now and let's talk about the investment. And that's really the biggest shift you can do. Don't feel uncomfortable talking about the money, which of course brings us to mistake number 8. Let's imagine for a second, you've done all the different tips that I've given you throughout this video and the client now says, amazing, I'm ready to move forward, I'll pay. And then what happens is you have a very weird way of taking payments. You don't have a very frictionless process of taking payments. I've seen this time and time again. You're like, okay, send me money through Venmo or Zelle me the money. Or you don't have a very smooth process with like, let's say a Stripe booking link onto the agreement or whatnot. And so you kill the momentum. And the client, they say, great, I'll get to it later. And then they start second guessing and then they ghost. And you didn't lose them because they changed their mind. You lost them because you let this yes sit too long. You made it too hard for them to actually pay you, to actually move forward with you. So it's more of an operational tweak than more of a mindset tweak. And it's literally one of the easiest, highest leverage things you can do. Have your payment link ready to send the moment that they say yes. The contract, the invoice, the onboarding, all of it should be ready to go in under 5 minutes. Like close them on the call or immediately after, not 2 days later. Mistake number 9 is not reviewing a sales consult. If you lose the deal, okay, no worries. You have to review it. Why did you actually lose them? In what point of your sales framework did it actually break? Because if you're not constantly reviewing it, then how are you going to ever learn from your mistake. And of course, yes, it can be painful at times. And oftentimes, if you're not that good at sales yourself, you need a coach to review it. It's almost like you're an athlete and a coach needs to review your game tapes, because every call is going to reveal some of the blind spots that you currently have, because you have to constantly look and figure out, why did somebody not buy? And of course, just as important is, why did somebody buy? So I can keep doing what's working and stop doing what is not working. Maybe you talked too much. Maybe your pitch just didn't land. Maybe your objection handling absolutely sucked, but you have to actually review it, take down notes so you can go into the next consult with a lot of improvements, because every single sales consult is data. If you're not collecting it, you're leaving valuable growth on the table. One of my clients, Vince, what he truly appreciated about us is not just the program, but the amount of hands-on support that we had, because we actually sit down and review every single one of our clients' calls. That's how we can give feedback, fine-tune the sales process, and ensure they're growing month after month. And that's exactly how he ended up doing over 75K working with us inside our program. There's a level of compounding that comes from constant refinement, not just doing more calls, but actually doing better calls, smarter calls, calls where you know exactly what to do because you studied what happened the last time. So record, review, refine every single time. And mistake number 10, it's going to be a quick one, but it's going to be a life changer. Somebody could get on the call with you. They're absolutely sold with you. They love your work. They connect with your approach. They understand the value, but they simply cannot commit to the full offer right now. Maybe it's budget, maybe it's fear, whatever it is. But because you've only built one offer for them, you let them walk away. And that's the all or nothing thinking. It costs you clients who are genuinely interested. So the fix is, have a smaller entry point ready to go, a lower commitment offer that gets them into your world, right? Gets that relationship started, gets them to work with you at some level, because it's going to build the trust and creates that natural path to upselling them later to that original core offer. So you can actually convert more of your calls into clients with this downsell offer. So here are the 10 fatal mistakes. And if you're honest with yourself, you're probably making 2 or 3 of these right now. And it's costing you precious clients every single year while you're stuck over there watching these people just slip out of your hands. So if you're truly serious about this, this is literally what we do inside our program at Aligned HQ. We give you the complete sales framework, the exact structure to run every call, from the opening question to presenting the investment. We coach you every single week. We review your calls, give you specific feedback on what to say differently, and hold you accountable until closing becomes second nature. And that's why our clients get results like they do. Larissa did 146K in revenue. Bo went from 500K to 1.2 million. Saurabh completely transformed his energy on calls. Jasmine said that sales framework alone was worth the entire investment. You see, these aren't creatives who got lucky. Instead, they got a proven system. They got coached and they got better every single week. So if you're ready to stop watching good clients slip through your fingers and you want the framework, the coaching, and the feedback to actually close them, book a call down below with us. The link is in the description. We'll get on a call, look at exactly what you're currently doing, why you're losing clients, and let you know how our program can exactly help you. So if you're serious about it, go down below and book in a call. And I'll see you in the next video.